So let me log into the system. Yeah, I'm in the system now. Let's see what is ledger first. Okay. So far you are not having any idea on this, but let's try to see it. So let's go and see the open items. Hmm, FAGLR03, right? So any of the GL account will select whether it could be a balance sheet or profit and loss account. What is your company code? IN40, right? Uh, what is
No,
IN54?
sir, I am 54.
Okay. Okay, there are many GL accounts. Let me pull any of the GL. Let's say inventory raw material I'm taking. Okay. And I'm giving you a company code. If you see here and down, there is a ledger 0L. This is default. You see here, 0L means it's a leading ledger. You no need to tell somebody has renamed it as a OL, but it's a name of by standard. It is called leading ledger. So anywhere you work, okay, not in a test system, in real time system also, you have a ledger. 0L is a leading ledger. Most of the companies will use 0L as a leading ledger. What does it mean? I'll tell you. So this is a 0L. Default it is there, and now we are just executing the values. Just running the report. So what does it mean? What all the transaction we see in the screen? These were default recorded in the ledger 0L. What does it mean? So ledger will help you to get your external reports. What are the external reports we have in financial information or accounting? One is a profit and loss account. The other one is balance sheet. In simple term, based on a ledger, we can get our external reports easily. So why you need a ledger? Exactly, let us see what ledger will control. Let's go to the SPRO. There are many issues we used to get while we are practicing and we used to fix, right? Let's go there only. Financial accounting, global settings, ledgers, ledger, and this is a place. Define settings for ledgers and currency types. First thumb rule you should understand is somebody is in. Let's go and see. We'll just view now. Later we'll create other ledgers. Okay, let's go inside. It will take time because it's client level data and who all are working in this client, their data will be saved in this ledgers. That is the reason it will take a bit time. Okay, let's wait. Okay, let's click on OK button. So you see, this is a ledger configuration. You see in a ledger there are currency types like what is a company code currency, what is a group currency, where you use legal currency type, and the other parameters you see, and you see global currency conversion settings. You just click on it. So this is all grouping. Then we'll go to the currency conversion settings for a company code. So we'll talk about bit later on this part. Let's go to the ledgers now. See how many ledgers are configured now. There are 149 ledgers. Okay, among 149 ledgers, you would see only one ledger as a leading ledger. You see, for a 0L, it was marked as a leading. See, so in one system, you cannot make more than one ledger as a leading. See, you don't see anywhere. If you go all are other than leading ledgers one. So it is clear that 0L is only leading ledger. Let's click on it. Okay. Let's double click on it. Let us go to the company code settings for ledger. Let's see what exactly it will control. So ledger will control three main important fields. Okay. One is physical year variant. So it controls what is your fiscal year, whether you are following your calendar year or a non-calendar year. Let's say
No,
IN50.
54, sir.
Yeah, let's go there.
My fiscal year variant is also 50%.
Very good. I see it. Let's go there. It takes time, but we have to patiently do this. See, 0L you created. Sorry, not you have not created. This is your company code IN54. By default, leading ledger is assigned to your company code. You nowhere assigned to ledger 0L, right? Have you assigned? No. For a leading ledger, you no
No,
need to
sir.
assign to your company codes. How many company codes you create in a system? For all these company codes, whatever ledger you select as a leading ledger, that will be assigned default. No action is needed. The other parameters, if you see here, the fiscal year variant, the posting period variant, and we have not added any accounting principle to this, but in S4 HANA, we have accounting principle also. So accounting principles we discussed, right? Gap is just a name you have to mention and you have to assign. Whether you following local gap or IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standard, whatever you are following, you need to mention that also. And other than this, you see there are currencies, right? In SAP, 10 means currency, company code currency. It's a local currency of your company code. In this case, INR, because IN54 is created in India, so your currency is INR. And other than your local currency, you have a group currency. Okay, there are currencies. One is local currency, which is your default currency of your company code, which is belongs to your country where your company code is created. The other one is group currency. When you have a group reporting, let's say you do business in multiple countries, but you want to see all your financial information, let's say in USD. Then for all company codes, you can set up your group currency as a USD. So that when you post an entry in INR, default the value will be also reflected in USD because of your settings. And there is one more currency, hard currency. Hard currency in a sense, there are few countries we cannot manage their local currency. Let's say Hungarian currency. You just check. So Hungarian currency is very inflation currency. What does it mean is, if you want to get one USD, you have to manage their local currency that they have to pay more. Okay. So the decimal places are very high. Like one USD now 80 rupees INR, right? Likewise, let's say Hungarian currency, you just convert and see. Their numbers are big. Let's say big in a sense, if you look at in a simple way, you have a thousand in a sense, one, three zeros, right? To match your thousand value in Hungary, let's say you need to put 1 crore in Hungarian currency. Is that easy to understand? No, right? When you are doing a reporting,
I think
your number
even
should be, yeah, your numbers should
in
be understandable, and they should have a minimal length. Due to the currency translation, if you have your number big, right, so it's not easy. In that cases, what they'll do is they depend on one of the currency, let's say, which is a trending currency in their company. Let's say they can use USD, in that case they can use euro, whatever currency they choose. Based on that, they can have their hard currency or index currency. Okay, they'll name it. But in interview also they'll ask you, okay, so in SAP S4 HANA, how many currencies we can have for a ledger? You have to tell your answer is 10 currencies we can manage. One is a local currency, the other one is group currency, third one is hard currency. Leaving these three, you can have additional three more currencies in S4 HANA. S4 HANA total 10 currencies you can have. But in SAP ECC, you can have up to three currencies only. Your local currency, group currency, and hard currency. They'll ask you currencies where you maintain, from where the currencies will control. You have to tell currencies will be operated from the ledger. Okay, in a ledger, you have a currency configurations. You see in a top, these are the currency types. We can work on it. Okay. But in simple, and the other
okay, sir.
parameters you have to tell, you have to remember, ledger will control your fiscal year variant and posting period variant and accounting principle. And also you remember for all company codes, legal entities, nobody is needed to activate a leading ledger. By default, leading ledger will be activated for all company codes. Okay, so leading ledger will be default 0L, that is okay. So let's see, this is used for a reporting purpose. Now let's go back to the theoretical. Let's see why ledgers are needed. We have one ledger, 0L is enough. Why we want to discuss more on this? This is not a OL, this is a 0L. Okay, leading ledger. So, leading ledger, there are accounting standards, right? Accounting standards are principles we just discussed. We have a gap, we have a IFRS. Let's say your client, let's say your company, for whom you're working, they said, hey, I want to follow two accounting principles. Let's say I want to follow for my internal reporting purpose, I want to see gap, and when I am publishing my result, or I want alternative reporting standards also be maintained, which is IFRS. In this case, I use 0L ledger, which is default needed for the reporting. We'll use 0L is a leading ledger. But to have another reporting, let's say they need IFRS. So IFRS values, based on IFRS, in case of any adjustment, additional entries they post, they don't want influence those postings in a 0L. Let's say gap. They don't want to have those postings in gap. They want dedicated reporting for IFRS also. In this case, what they can do is they can create a non-leading ledger. What is it? A non-leading ledger. Okay, what does it mean non-leading ledger? Other than leading ledger, whatever ledger you create, it will be a non-leading ledger. Okay. Leading ledger can be only one, that is 0L default. Non-leading ledger can be created anything. It's a two-digit alphanumeric value, but that is for your additional reporting purpose. If you're fine with the gap and the local reporting, then you go for a default leading ledger. No need to create any additional ledger. But your company said you want one more accounting principle, you need to follow, you need a separate ledger for that. Then we'll have to create a non-leading ledger. Let's see. Let us go on quickly post one transaction so that you will understand what is mean by leading ledger. Okay, let's go. After 02, we'll just post one entry. 1807 2022 IN54. Let me post a simple entry. Where is, say, let's say rent I am posting. Enter 100 rupees and 50. So this is, I'll pay from a cash. Oh, this is inventory number. Let it be. Just for testing only, right? We can take anything. We just simulate and we just save it. You see, there is a document number 10,117 document number got posted in a system. Let us go and see ledger point of view where it went and where it was updated. Let's go to the table. You need to remember this table. ACDOCA. ACDOCA. This table is introduced in SAP S4HANA. It was not there in SAP ECC. Okay. So what does it mean is this is a single source of truth. Okay. In this table, you can see your BSEG, BKPF. There are multiple data. Let's say controlling, we have not started at. Controlling data also we can see here. Okay, this why we call it as universal journal, because it's a place, one place you can see the truth, you can see all the information related to your financials or a controlling here. It gives you the more brief data. Okay, so they've removed some index tables and aggregate total tables. Okay, but they removed, in a sense they've not removed completely, they've created them as a CDS views. I'll tell you what are the index tables or aggregate tables which are removed in S4 HANA. still they are available to see the result. You can see the result still, but technically they remove tables. Why they remove a table? In a sense, to balance the database. Table, in a sense, everything will be stored in your database, right? If you have unnecessary tables, what will happen? Data will be consumed more, and you have to put your operating cost extra and system performance. It will impact everything, right? So that is the reason they remove, and they come up with a single source of truth, that is ACDOCA table. Okay. So let us just see the document which we posted now. What is the document number? The company code is IN54, and year is 2022, and document number is 10,117, right? Let us execute it. If you see here, this entry was posted in a ledger default, leading ledger, right? Ledger 0L is what? Leading ledger. Including 0L, there are other two ledgers also updated. You see, E0 and P2. We have not created them, right? Have you created them? No. So still, why you have these ledgers? While somebody is working on a ledgers, he impacted your company code. So that what you have done, they have created some extension ledger. So extension ledger was impacted you. So to correct that error, that time you assign posting period variant for this ledgers, and it was assigned to your company code. What does it mean is, whatever entry you post, it should update in a ledger 0L default. You assume you don't have these ledgers, you are not created. Your client didn't ask you to create, you are not created. So in this point, you have to understand, whatever entry you post, it updates in a leading ledger 0L default. See here 0L. You look this only, you ignore these four lines. We have not created them. To fix some error, we have this ledgers. Okay, this is a test system. You see, the values are reported in 0L. You understood, right? Whatever entry you post, the values will get updated in your leading ledger default. So now the requirement is, including a leading ledger, I want another ledger to report my IFRS accounting principles to be followed. So let's say we create one more ledger. Let's say we create as a 55I we create. This is a non-leading ledger. Anything I can name. I can give 5I as a non-leading ledger, and I can assign IFRS for this. Okay. The other important things I told you previously, what does ledger controls? You need to understand and you need to remember always. What does ledger controls? What does ledger controls? Can you tell me? You remember? Fee status,
Fiscal year.
sorry, fiscal year, fiscal year, year variant, and posting period variant, accounting principle you can mention, and
Accounting principles.
currencies, right?
Currency variant.
Up to 10 currencies. So including your local currency, group currency, and hard currency, additional 7 currencies, right? Total 10 currencies it will come to. You need to remember, and the next important question is, how many leading ledgers can be configured? Answer is only one, that is 0L. Okay. Do we need to assign leading ledger to the company codes? Answer is no need to assign. Default, the 0L ledger will be assigned. What is the next question? What is the purpose of ledgers? Ledgers are used for reporting purpose. These are summary of your GL balances. GL balances in a sense you have a assets and liabilities used for balance sheet and expenses and revenue used for your P&L account, right? Okay. Mana, as I'm saying, we are using ledgers for our reporting purpose only. If you're fine with one reporting, which is you following a gap, then one ledger is fine. If you want to use one more accounting principle, definitely you need to create one more ledger. Okay, but this can be a non-leading ledger, not a leading ledger. Leading ledger only one. Okay, next, what are the different ledgers we have? What are the ledgers we have in SAP, ECC, and HANA? We'll write this way as for HANA. In ECC, we have two ledgers. Okay, leading ledger, non-leading ledger. In S4HANA, we have leading ledger, non-leading ledger. Including these two, we have extension ledger. Okay, this is only you have in SAP S4HANA. This is not available in SAP ECC. Okay, so another thumb rule is while creating the non-leading ledger, we should have a cutoff date. Cutoff date means, okay, if you're creating a non-leading ledger, make sure you are creating after, let's say, in the beginning of a financial year, or let's say after a one quarter, after a half year. Likewise, you have to create, because from when you create a non-leading ledger, from there onwards, whatever the postings you do, that will update in non-leading ledger. So let's say my point is, if you start your business from a 1st of April, okay, if you want to create any ledger, make sure you create on or before 1st April. If you create what? If you create in a May, 1st May, if you create a non-leading ledger, what all postings happen till April end, those will not reflect in your non-leading ledger, which you are going to create newly from a 1st May. Okay. That is the reason you always remember you should have a cutoff date. You have to tell the business if they ask you, hey, please help me to create a one non-leading ledger. I want to do some additional reporting, which is purely for IFRS or a gap. You have to tell them, hey, so it is as for SAP standard, SAP suggested to create a non-leading ledger in a certain time. Let's say whether you create in a beginning of a financial year, let's say if you are in the middle of a month, don't create it. Let this quarter reporting done. From the next quarter onwards, we'll have a new non-leading ledger created. Or else let the half-yearly reporting is done. After 6 months, we create a non-leading ledger. That is up to the business. If they say, hey, that is okay, you create from today, you just create today. From today, what all postings happens, let them only post in a non-leading ledger. What are the differences we have between a leading and non-leading ledger? We can understand when we can manage. If they say still, oh, we don't have any problem, we'll create it. But as for SAP suggestion, it should be created in a certain point. Let's say beginning of a fiscal year or quarterly of yearly is suggested. Okay, let them create whatever. But let's see, we'll create a one non-leading ledger and we'll see the difference. What does it mean and how it will be reflected. So let's go to the configuration again. Again, it will take time. Let's see. And before it opens, I just want to explain a few more important things. Always remember, when you create a ledger group will be created automatically by the system with the same name. What does it mean is, if you create any ledger, say we are going to create 5i is a non-leading ledger. The minute you create a non-leading ledger 5i and if you save it,
Sir, the screen is short, sir.
okay. What I was saying is, when you create any ledger, let's say we are going to create a 5i is a non-leading ledger. The minute you create and save it, system will create a ledger group with the same name 5i. Okay, you no need to create ledger group separately. You know, most of the interviews they'll ask what is the ledger group, how you create a ledger group. Your answer should be, the minute we create a ledger, system has a capability to create a ledger group with the same name default. Automatically system will create. You no need to create it. Okay. Let's see whether it's opened or not. Still it's loading. Yeah. That is one point. You don't need to create a ledger groups. System only automatically creates once you create a ledger. The other point is, what is mean by representative ledger? They'll ask what is mean by representative ledger. You no need to worry and you no need to think. We have only ledgers, these many only: leading, non-leading ledger, and in a HANA you have addition to extension ledger. But when they ask what is mean by representative ledger, your answer should be all ledgers will be called representative ledgers. Okay, what all ledgers you create? Default, they are the representative ledgers. They represent your reporting, however you want to configure. That's all. You no need to confuse with these two terms. What is a ledger group and what is a representative ledger? I'll show you where you can see the representative ledger also. Let's see in a system whether it was opened or not yet. Yeah, this is open. Now let us go to the new entries. Let's create a file I. You name it non-reading ledger. Okay. Uh, what is it is telling? I think somebody has used the same ledger. I can use for the change of ledger code. Let's use, it's asking digit is not allowed. Let's say IG. Okay, so whatever I told, right, it's a two-digit alpha value only. Okay, IG. Let us go with symbols if you want, you can use it. Yeah, non-leading ledger, I named it, but still I am trying to make it as a leading ledger. Let's see what system will say. I just entered. Only one ledger can be specified as a leading ledger. We have already discussed it, right? One ledger only we can have a leading ledger, not more than one. So this is we understood. You just untick this now. Okay. This should be ledger type standard ledger and standard journal entries view. You just select it. If it is not selected default, you select this and just save it. It's saving. We'll wait 1 minute. Okay, just click on OK, save it. Again, it will take time. Okay, system is still line, not possible to create a ledger group. Ledger group possible. Okay, there is some error in creating a ledger group. What does it? This group already exists. This group already exists in a sense. Somebody created IZ ledger. Okay, by then system has created IZ ledger group by default. Later, maybe somebody deleted the ledger. Okay, that is the reason we see IZ is available to create a ledger, but in a ledger group it is already exists. It is telling. Let us see. Okay, let's wait. Okay, now it is telling data was saved. So likewise, I said leading ledger no need to assign to your company code, but this non-leading ledger you have to assign to your specified company codes. Where exactly you want to specify, you need to assign them. Okay. We have not created any accounting principle. We can create and assign. That is also fine. Let's click on company code settings. See here, nothing was there. No company codes were added to this ledger yet. We just click on new entries. We add our company code IN54. This non-leading ledger should work for IN54 company code. We are mentioning. Enter. This ledger assigned to the company code that is used productively. Yes. Okay. You just click no. Okay. See, default. What are the fiscal year variant assigned to this company code? What is the posting period assigned to this company code? It picked default. For this ledger, if you want to see any different fiscal year variant to be followed, you create and assign accordingly. Likewise, posting period variants also you create and assign. This is accounting principle is just the name. We can create and we can assign here, or else whatever the created you can use. Let's say this is needed for IFRS. Somebody created IFRS HNFS. You thought you created this. It's very easy. I'll show you how to create. Let's say we'll use gap for this reporting, non-leading ledger gap. You enter, you save it. Again, it will take a time. Let's wait. Okay, just click on OK. Now again it will save. We have to wait. Okay, now the data was saved. Make sure we have a ledger group also created, right? It will create automatically. Let's go to IG and I'll show you where we exactly create accounting principle also. Come back. Come back. And another important rule is whatever name you have for your ledger, the same name you should have for your ledger group also. If there is any inconsistency between your ledger name and ledger group name, then there will be an issue while posting entry. Let's go and see. Okay, see here down you have a defined ledger groups. You just click on, and what is the ledger we created? IG. See, as I told you before, it was created IG as an engine gap. Somebody was created, and later somebody was deleted a ledger also. That is the reason ledger was available for us to create with the same name. We created. System clearly told, hey, ledger group, you no need to create. We will not create because it was already exist. But if you see the name is different, right? We should not consider his name. We have to consider our name. Okay, and select this, and here click on ledger assignments. You see representative ledger, rep ledger, it was ticked. It means whatever ledger you create, by default it will be a representative ledger. You don't need to do anything, but make sure your ledger group also have a same name of your ledger. This is our name. Why it was different, Pawan? Why it was different name? Because this is not ours. Somebody was already created. That is the reason there is an inconsistency. If you are creating a brand new which nobody was used, the minute you create a ledger, The ledger group also will create with the same ledger and same description also should appear here. In our case, we've taken somebody's ledger which was created already. That is the reason we have to correct this description. Otherwise, we no need to correct this. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So now go to the accounting principles. If you see here, parallel accounting, you have a defined accounting principles. This is just a name, okay? 4 digit or 5 digit alphanumeric name. How many? 4 digit only. You can define anything. Let's say if I want to define IFRS, I can define IFRS reporting. Just enter save. That's all. It's not a big deal. The same can be assigned to your ledgers as per your requirement. As per your client request, you create a how many accounting principles they want to use. You just name it as per their convenience, and you assign those accounting principles to the ledgers as we assigned previously. Gap we assigned, I guess, for IG ledger, right? Now we'll go and we'll post one more entry. Whatever entry we posted previously, we'll post the same entry F-02. Make sure this is a before screen. You see, for IN 54, whatever entry you posted, it was updating in 0L leading ledger, right? That is, I have asked you to remember for now. You ignore these 4 lines. We have not created these non-leading ledgers. The fact to correct some errors, we have these ledgers in place now. Now I am going to post a entry with a reference so that it will be easy to post. Enter. Post with the reference I'm using and just save it. I posted entry this time 10118 is a document number which was posted. Come back, select that number. You see, this is a default. Nobody will change this. Leading ledger, whatever the entry you posted, it should update in your leading ledger. It was updated, this document number in 0L. Including that, you have a IG also updated, ledger IG. What is this ledger? This is intentionally you created for a gap accounting principle, and this was assigned to your company code. By default, whatever the entry you post, from there onwards, the entries will also update in your non-leading ledger. When you create a non-leading ledger, just now you created a non-leading ledger. Once you create a non-leading ledger, from there onwards, what are the postings happening? Those will only update from a 0L to your non-leading ledger. You are not specified. I want to post in this ledger, this ledger. You posted normally entry. As for your reporting purpose, default it will update in the leading ledger, and also as you have activated a non-leading ledger, one more copy was updated in your non-leading ledger. So here tell me what will be the problem, what will be a business problem or a business challenge here if the logic works like this. You have a data duplication, right? And the data duplication means it is consuming your database.
Yes, sir.
The same document number is reflecting in how many ledgers? Leading ledger default. Non-leading ledgers also impacting, right? So
Yes,
it
sir.
means the same data is storing in how many times? One, two, three. Three non-leading ledgers you have. So total
It
four
consumes a
records are
lot of
creating.
space.
Yeah, a lot of space, right? This is a main disadvantage with the non-leading ledger. Non-leading ledger will consume the database like your leading ledger. So this is creating a complication, and it's a cost, right? It's cost to the maintenance, in a sense, cost to the company or your client, right? So that is the reason, if there is any necessity, uh, then only they'll go for non-leading ledger activation. Otherwise, simply they'll not activate. If they activate it, they have to think all these parameters into consideration. Okay. Now let's go and display the GL open items. Okay, FAGLL03. Why I told you, if you want to activate any non-leading ledger, in a certain point only you need to activate. Why? Let's see. So what is a GL account we posted? Rent, right? Let's go to the rent. Where is it?
20
Right.
minutes.
Yeah. So IN54, I have now selected 0L. This is the right report. Okay. I'll get the right value with the 0L because from the beginning, I have the values reported in 0L. Right. Let's execute. What is the total value you have? You have 3,70,400 INR you have in this GL account as per your postings. Now you come back and here you see choose ledger in the top. You select IG. What is the ledger we have? IG, right? This is the non-leading ledger we created. Just save it because this we assign to IN54. Now you see in a down, you are seeing the balances of this ledger only, not a 0L ledger. 0L ledger is used for one accounting principle reporting. The other one is for another accounting principle as for the requirement, report requirement. Now execute. It will only show one entry 100 rupees only. See, is it a right value? Is it a right closing value of a rent?
Yes, sir.
It's not right. Actual value is whatever value you have in this ledger, right? Leading ledger, 0L. Sorry, I typed OL, it's a 0L. This is the real value, 3,70,400. But in your non-leading ledger, it is showing only 100 rupees. Why? What did we discuss? We discussed
Only that particular amount is posted in that ledger, sir.
after creating non-leading ledger, we posted only this entry. That is the reason this value only updating, right?
Yes, sir.
In the notes, we clearly discuss here. If you want to activate a non-leading ledger in a certain point, you need to activate, right? See this point? Beginning of a fiscal year. If you create an non-leading ledger beginning of a fiscal year, all postings will update in your leading ledger and also in your non-leading ledger. So there will not be any difference, right?
Yes,
Now
sir.
you see a difference, right? You understood? Only
Yes,
100
sir.
why it is coming. After activating this non-leading ledger, what all postings happening?
We
Then
just
that
posted it.
that only will update in your non-leading ledger, right?
Yes, sir.
So the other important thing you need to remember, whatever the document number you used for, whatever the document number you created in FBN1 for a document number sequence 01 for SA document type, right? Whatever sequence you maintain, that number from a leading ledger to non-leading ledger came. See, 10,118. This number only, right? We have not given any separate number. See, 10,118. The same number is updated in all your non-leading ledger, not a separate number. It's from a your leading ledger only, right? You see, the same document number will update in your non-leading ledgers also. So if I go and post one more entry, okay, that entry only will update in from IG non-leading ledger also. Let's go. I'm just posting one more entry. Post with reference. Enter. Save it. This time 119 was posted. You just refresh your non-leading ledger. That value also will update because it was activated, right? You see 200 only. You understood now? The mirror will happen from 0L to non-leading ledger when you create a non-leading ledger and activate it. Then from then only it will work. From not a beginning of a your business or a fiscal year. That is the reason they have to activate in a certain point to match your balances between ledgers. Got it? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next, next is another important one is a representative ledger will create. You understood leading ledger, you understood non-leading ledger, right? Now we are left with the
Yes, sir.
extension ledger. I just clicked on again settings. Let's wait, it will take time. Okay, now let's create the extension ledger. Mostly the extension ledger was introducer to reduce your data duplication. And extension ledger can be created any point in time. You no need to wait for a certain point. If you can create any point in time, but the values from your leading ledger will reflect in extension ledger as is. There will not be any mismatches. Let's see why. Let's name it. Okay, let us go to the new entries. Let's create one more ledger. Let's say PA. I'm naming. This is extension ledger. Again, extension ledger, you no need to assign to your company code, default it. So see ledger type, you select extension ledger and make sure for the extension ledger, we need to assign a underlying ledger as a leading ledger. Underlying ledger as a leading ledger. I am repeating. What is a leading ledger?
Zero
0L,
L.
right? You for extension ledgers, you need to add underlying ledger as your leading ledger and just save it. We just created one more extension ledger, but we'll see the result. Let it save. It will take again time. Let's wait. Let's click on OK. Okay. Again, same problem. So this ledger already somebody created and deleted. Previously, this PI was created as a ledger group. I will not create. It is saying same error. User. If it is a brand new name, this message will not get it. Default your ledger will create. Ledger group also will create with the same name, same description. Let's say okay. Data was saved. However, we'll copy this name. We have to give the same name to our ledger group also. It might have come default, but due to the fact somebody already created, it's not coming. Let's go to the ledger group PA. See, they've created this extension ledger for IFRS reporting purpose. As I said, extension ledgers also, any ledger can be created for your reporting purpose only. Just save it. Select ledger assignment. Okay, representative ledger, fine. Okay. Now, let's go on see the open item balances of a rent only. Okay, come back. FAGL03. Please be remember, we have not activated this extension ledger to our company code. We have not activated. So by default, we've given underlying ledger as a 0L. So that what system does is, wherever 0L is assigned for which all company codes, for all those company codes, this extension ledger also activated default. You no need to activate separately. Okay, it means all company
Okay,
code
sir.
0L is default leading ledger. So it means this extension ledger also will be assigned for them and it is functional for them also. Let's go to the choose ledger balance. We want to see the PA ledger. We have just activated. After activating, we have not posted anything. Configuration of a ledger PA and company code is okay. Maybe posting period variant that all missed. Let's see. Let's wait. We created PA only, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see the error message. Combination of user payment combination missing. Customizing. The customizing is only way of opening. Let's wait. Okay, select the extension ledger we created PA. Select. Click on company code settings. So this should come automatically. IN54. Okay, default values. Let's say I'll add IFRS accounting principle for this ledger. Let's save it. Default this configuration should activated. Okay, so due to some issue in a system, it was not default activated, so we just added our company code here. Something wrong with this test system, that is the reason this step additionally we're doing, but in real time it's not needed. Click on OK, again save it. Yeah, the data is saved. Let's go see the open items again. This is not needed. Let's execute now. See, now it's opening. See, after creating extension ledger, did we post any entry? Did we post any
No,
entry?
sir.
No. Still,
No,
you
sir.
see the closing balance of your extension ledger is 3,70,500 INR. Let's go and see the leading ledger value also. Choose the ledger, 0L, execute. You see, our extension ledger value also exactly matching with your leading ledger. No difference, right? But
Yes, sir.
have we activated this in the beginning of a fiscal year while creating your
No,
organization?
sir. No, sir.
No, right? We created
Just now we
now.
have.
However, the logic is underlying ledger we have given 0L. That is the reason it has a capability to fetch the leading ledger values default to your the extension ledger. You understood, right? Likewise, in non-leading ledger, this is not the case. Non-leading ledger only allows you to reflect the values from when you activated, after activating, when you post any entries, those entries only will appear in your non-leading ledger. But in extension ledger, we can see all the postings which were in a 0L. That is a best advantage. It means extension ledger can be activated at any point. Can be activated at any time. The balances will match as per 0L. The reason while creating extension ledger, we are giving underlying ledger as 0L. This is clear, right? Now,
Yes, sir.
another advantage with the extension ledger I'll show you. Let's go and post one more entry now. After activating extension ledger, we are posting one more entry. Enter. Just enter. Save it. This time 10,120 document number was posted. Let's go to the table ACDOCA. Let's fetch that document number 20, right? What is the document number we post there? 20, yes. Let us see this document number. In how many ledgers it was updated. Have you seen any duplication here? PA ledger, our extension ledger is appearing here or no?
No, sir.
No. The other advantage is through the extension ledger, we can avoid the data duplication. Data will not update in a table. In a table, extension ledger values will not be appeared here. See, we have created PA. Still PA values are not appearing here. But however you go and see the open items or a balance of the GL, you still see that document is posted because of a underlying ledger 0. You see, this is extension ledger 10,120 is appearing here, right? However,
Yes, sir.
it's not reflecting in your database. To save your data duplication is avoiding by extension ledger. The other important point you can tell in interview if they ask, extension ledger help to avoid the data duplication. This is much needed for your client, right? You can save the money. right? And system performance. There are a lot of things, right? So compared to your extension ledger and between your extension ledger and non-leading ledger, which is a no very straightforward and easy one, extension, right? Non-leading ledger has a complications. It has to activate in a certain point, and the data duplication is there, and the values will not match previous values. But in extension ledger, we have these advantages too, right? Understood?
Yes, sir.
So you just create at least one extension ledger, one non-leading ledger, and you try to understand the concept. Okay. On this same topic, still we have one more topic. Let's say ledger specific posting. How to do a ledger postings. In a particular ledger only, we want to post an entry. What are the configuration you need to do for this? Okay. How this behaves, that we'll see in the next class. Okay. Ledger specific posting. Let's say I want the document to be posted only in 0L, only in IG, maybe only in PA. In that case, how system works? So you cannot go directly and post entry in a ledger. Now, if you want to see the error, let's go to the, because it's a reporting purpose, right? As for the IFRS or a gap, I want to post only in a non-leading ledger. Let's say only post in a extension ledger. You go to the accounting, financial accounting, general ledger, document entry. You see FB50L, GL account document for ledger group. You are specific to the ledger group, you can use this transaction code, or FB01L. L stands for ledger specific posting. Okay, you can park the ledger specific also. FV50L. Normal parking is FV50. Ledger parking is FV50L. Okay, any of the transaction code you can use and you can post. Let's try to post in a FB01. Okay, I want to post a ledger specific entry. Let's see what will be the error you will get. It's slow. Let's wait. Okay. Can you tell me what is the extra field you are seeing here other than F-02? One extra field came here. Ledger group, right?
Ledger group. Yes, sir.
What is the ledger we created? IZ, yeah?
Yes,
ZA,
sir.
yeah?
Easy.
IZ. You select IZ. Okay. Normally users will do one more mistake. They come to ledger specific posting. Still in a ledger specific posting, if you don't select a ledger here, like IZ, if you don't select like this and if you post normally, it will post as a normal transaction after 02. Okay. Make sure if you are here, you have to select a ledger also. Otherwise, it will post as a normal transaction. I'll show you tomorrow. Let's say IG I'm selecting. I want to, let's say I want to post one specific rent entry to this ledger only. It should not reflect any other ledgers. This value should reflect in this ledger as per that accounting principle I am posting. Enter. You see, there is a error.
Yes, sir.
No document number found for a
Number.
entry view for a document type SA for a ledger IG. Okay. It is good to know if there is any request. If somebody asks you to activate a ledger, you should also understand, but while activating ledger, what are the other configurations I also need to activate to work the further process. Okay, that discussion will continue in tomorrow class. Okay.
Okay,
Meantime,
sir.
you create one non-leading ledger, one extension ledger. You practice this. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Then thank you. We'll connect tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.